Man, I'm excited to make this video. What's going on, everybody? It is the Hype Ginger here, back with another video. Before the video starts, if you're not already, go ahead and follow me on social media. I will link that down in the description and put that right here. Also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, as I will be bringing the latest hype tech and hype clothing to this channel all the time. So go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and follow me on social media, and let's get into today's video. So this video is something that I've wanted to make for a long time, but I couldn't make until they actually announced it, and that is the Boosted Board Generation 3. And when I thought the Boosted Board Generation 3, I was thinking, okay, it's gonna be one board. And it wasn't just one board, it wasn't just two boards, it wasn't three boards, it was 4 boards they have just announced a couple days ago on the Boosted Board Twitter page. So the 4 models they announced are the Boosted Mini S, the Boosted Mini X, the Boosted Board Plus, and then the Boosted Board Stealth. That is a lot of boosted boards, but they're all gonna be awesome. Now, why am I saying this? Why am I saying they're awesome if I don't even have a boosted board myself? All right, a little bit of a brief history before I get into the 4 new models of boosted boards. Back in 2014, the first boosted board model came out, and that is when I was hooked on these things. I remember as a little kid, I used to have an electric scooter, and I always loved riding that thing around my neighborhood, and it would have a top speed of 50 miles per hour, and I thought that was so fast. So in 2014, when I saw one of these, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get one. It's not going to be that expensive. There's no way. It's going to be probably like $500-$600. It's probably going to be more expensive than a scooter, but it's not going to be that expensive. And to my surprise, it was $1,500. So once I saw it was $1,500, I knew I wasn't going to get one, but I knew these things were awesome. Back in 2014, when it came out, it had a top speed of 22 miles per hour, and it had a great build quality and everything else, but there was one big thing that was an issue with it, and that was the build quality on the bottom. The electronics were exposed, so that means if you ran over a puddle after a rainy day and water got in the electronics, that means that the electronics will get hurt, and then, of course, you might ruin your board. So they fixed that with the second model, and along with the second model came a better build quality. They reinforced it, they gave it a loaded deck, so they partnered with a company called Loaded, and it just made a better deck, and then also they covered the electronics. So that means, of course, if you run over a puddle after a rainy day or on a rainy day, if it's just sprinkling, you're not gonna hurt the electronics and the board will be fine. So that was in 2016. Now comes 2018. So it's almost like every 2-year trend. 2014 was the first model, 2016 was the second model, and 2018 is the 4 new models. They didn't just come out with 1, they came out with 4 new models. I think it's insane. I really wanna get my hands on one of these. Let's give an overview of all these boards. Now, these boards, all of them are made with even better material than before. The older boards were rated probably for around 4,000 to 5,000 miles in its lifespan. These boards, I'm gonna say they could be 5,000 to 6,000 miles, maybe even more than that, 7,000 miles. These things are made insanely well. Each one of them are made with poplar wood. Crazy good build quality. Also, they are made with triaxial fiberglass. All of them are made with that, so it's gonna reinforce the board to make it even stronger and last longer. Now, as you get into the more expensive models, which are the top 2 models, they also come with high density foam inside of them in between the 2 layers, so it's even stronger than what I already mentioned. So those things are gonna last, of course, longer than the first 2 models, but all of them are gonna last a very long time just because of how well built they are. Talk about the lower 2 models and the upper 2 models, and what exactly do I mean? So there are 4 new models, like I said, and the 2 lower models are the Boosted Board Mini series, and then the top models are the Boosted Board Longboard series. Now, what are the differences between these 2 types of models of boards? So, like I already said, the high density foam is one of the different things in the boards. Of course, the higher class models have that high density foam for extra protection, and the lower models don't. Also, the Boosted Board Mini series, which are the lower models, they are made with a 29-inch deck, and then the higher class model, which are the top 2 models, they are made with a 39-inch deck. So depending on your preference, you choose which one you want. If you want a shorter board, they are going to be better for turn radius and just compactness and lightweight. And the upper models, which are the Boosted Board Plus and the Boosted Board Stealth, are going to be the ones that you're going to want if you want a longer riding experience, you want something that's built a little bit better and is probably gonna last you a little bit longer. That's what you're gonna wanna go for. Prices on all these boards. What makes them so different? So the first model, which is the Boosted Board Mini S, is $750. It has a top speed of 18 miles per hour, and it's just a really good board. This thing is the base model, it's the cheapest model, but that's one that I think is gonna be the most popular just because of the affordability. When you're getting all the way to the top model, which is around $1,600, that's gonna be really hard for a lot of people to come down to pay. A lot of people aren't gonna wanna pay that much for a boosted board. They're gonna wanna pay in that $750 range. They don't even wanna pay in that $750 range, but that's way better than a $1,600 board. That's less than half of what the top board cost. So the second model is the Boosted Board Mini X. So just think of the Boosted Board Mini X as just a little bit of an upgrade from the Boosted Board Mini S. It looks a little bit stealthier. They did the grip tape just a little bit different just to make it look better. I honestly think this one looks awesome. It's a mini version, so if you're into the smaller types of skateboards, then of course you're gonna like this. The turn radius is better, like I said, and this one goes 20 miles per hour. This one is just a little bit faster. I think it's gonna have a little bit more performance, and you might feel a little bit more torque. I'm not sure about that. You would have to do a test on one, but I'm pretty sure since it's about $250 more, coming in right at $999, I think it's gonna be just a little bit better. So the third new model coming out is the Boosted Board Plus. Now, if you've owned a Boosted Board before, especially the Gen 2, think of this as just a little bit of an upgrade from that. It pretty much has the same top speed, which is 22 miles per hour. It comes in a little bit cheaper at $1,399. Of course, the Boosted Board Dual Plus, if you had the second gen Dual Plus, it came in at $1,499. So it's a bit cheaper, and it pretty much has the same performance, and of course, it has a little bit better of a build. So if you're used to that older model, then go ahead and pick yourself up one of these. It's a little bit cheaper, and it's a really, really good board. Now, if you're familiar with other brands of boards like Acton or Evolve skateboards, of course, you know they had their top of the line model. And really, Boosted Board only had one model up until now, so it's kind of like they needed something to compete with that. And what did they build? They built the Boosted Board Stealth. This thing comes in at $1,599, so practically $1,600. This thing is insane. This thing is so sexy. Just look at it. Just look at it. I'll put it right above my head. This thing is insane. I really want this board. Think of this just as the Boosted Board Mini X is the upgraded version of the Boosted Board Mini S. The Boosted Board Stealth is just an upgraded version of the Boosted Board Plus. So this thing has a top speed of 24 miles per hour. Now, with all these mile per hour ranges, they all do have modes. So the Boosted Board Mini series, they have 3 riding modes, which are beginner, intermediate, and expert. And then the Boosted Board Plus has 4 riding modes, which are beginner, eco, intermediate, and expert. And then the Boosted Board Stealth has 5 modes. The 5 modes, I believe, are Eco, Beginner, Intermediate, Expert, and Hyper, which Hyper unlocks that 24 miles per hour, which is insane. These boards, of course, if you have something like the Boosted Board Hyper and you're going 24 miles per hour downhill, you can probably hit something like 26 to 28 miles per hour going downhill, and that is just insane on an electric skateboard. So that one is definitely going to be for people who really like top speeds and just really like the thrill of going that fast. Now, which one is for you? Which one should you pre-order if you are planning on pre-ordering? Of course, for me, I'm not planning on pre-ordering. If I get one, I will get it after its release. I don't have the money right now. I would really like to buy the Boosted Board Mini X or the Boosted Board Stealth. I don't really want to go with those basic models, the Boosted Board Mini S or the Boosted Board Plus. I'd really like the Stealth or the X. Of course, the X being $1,000 and the Boosted Board Stealth being $1,600. I don't know which one is worth it for me. What you have to consider is a couple things. You have to consider the size and the weight. So in terms of being smaller, of course, the Boosted Board Mini series is going to be a lot smaller, 10 inches smaller exactly, and it's going to be a lot easier to carry. Now, when you have something like the Boosted Board Plus or the Boosted Board Stealth, it's going to be heavier. It's going to be way heavier. If you're trying to carry it, it's going to drag along the ground, and it's not going to be the greatest for portability. Another big thing you have to consider with these boards is the turn radius on these boards. And now it sounds like something a lot of people don't talk about, but with the Boosted Board Mini series, as I've been seeing on other reviews and overlooks of the first board when they got it sent to them, the Boosted Board Mini series has a way better turn radius because on the back you can kick the tail up in order to turn. So if you're doing a sharp corner, you can really hit those sharp corners good and you don't have to step off the board like the Boosted Board Plus or the Boosted Board Stealth. With the longboard styles, it's really hard to hit a sharp corner and go through it with no problems. When you're on a Boosted Board longboard series, it's gonna be really hard. If you're really going fast and then you need to do a quick turn, it's gonna be really hard. You're almost gonna have to slow completely down, step off the board, turn it, or just go really slow and go around that curve really, really slow. So if you're thinking in terms of trying to get somewhere faster, I would go with the Boosted Board Mini series just because of the compactness and the turn radius. Of course, if you don't really care about those, if you're not too concerned about the weight because you're not going to be carrying that much, and you're not really too concerned about the turn radius, then of course you can go with the Boosted Longboard series. Another thing we got to talk about with all these boards is the range. Now the range on these things for the regular battery, which is 99 kilowatt hours, for all of the boards is 7-mile range. Now that will get you about 3 to 4 miles if you're going really fast, which I know most people will be going. Nobody really wants to go in super eco mode, which is going to be really slow, but you will unlock that full 7 miles if you go that slow. Now with the extended range battery, which is double 199 kilowatt hours, you will get 14 miles per charge in super eco mode, or you can go fast and get about 7 to 8, maybe 9 miles, depending just how fast you're going. So I would say get the extended range battery. Now, if you don't really care about that range, if you're not really doing long commutes, or if you just don't need something that really lasts that long, then of course you can go with the lower range battery, but I would go ahead and upgrade to the longer range battery, because even if you want it in the future, it's going to be more expensive in the future than if you bundle it right now with your pre-order. All right, so the last thing we're gonna talk about when picking between these boards is just the longevity of these boards. I think all of these, like I said, are gonna last you a long time. They're pretty much all built with the same exact thing, except the top two models being built with a high density foam core in between the two layers. So if you're looking for something that's higher build quality, might last a little bit longer, is gonna go faster, it's gonna be heavier, it's gonna cost more, but it's gonna have a more premium feel, then go with the longboard series. Now, if you're looking for something more compact, maybe travel with it, gonna be way cheaper, maybe a little bit less powerful, and might last you just a little bit less, go with the mini series. Of course, that's gonna be way cheaper than going with something like the longboard series. And if you're just getting into these boards and you really don't wanna pay that top price, then of course, go ahead and pay the lower price. All these boards are gonna be great no matter which one you pick up. They're all fast, no matter what. Of course, the Boosted Board Stealth is gonna be the fastest one of the bunch, and the Boosted Board Mini S is going to be the slowest of the bunch. But with all that said, I think there's a valid argument to any one that you are going to choose. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am super excited about these boards. Hopefully, I will be able to get my hands on one eventually. I know for right now, I won't have one, and of course, I'm not getting the preview one, unless of course, Boosted somehow wants to send my huge channel of 1 to 2 subscribers a preview of the Boosted board to try out for myself. I don't think that's gonna happen. It would be a miracle if I did. If Boosted somehow sees this video, then that would be great. I will be more than happy to review it for you. And if I get one, I will be reviewing it immediately on the channel. So go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and follow me on social media. I will pop it up here one more time if you like the video. Like I said, like it, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.